आज के podcast में of course we'll talk about free speech.
Yes.
That will be like a broad end to this. But also last के 10 years में जो भी Supreme Court के decisions हुए हैं, big stuff which made the headlines and everything. So we'll also go through that. We'll start with free speech.
Sure.
So in terms of that, tell me कि क्या इंडिया में Indian citizens को do they actually truly have free speech? Absolute.
We definitely have free speech. Part 3 of the Constitution of India, Article 19(1)(a), guarantees every Indian citizen right to freedom of speech and expression. It is to every Indian citizen. But now abhi absolute matlab kya? It cannot be something that you speak something so obnoxious or something so problematic that is going to challenge the security and integrity of the country, or is going to be defamatory in nature. It would be contemptuous. Or there are many reasonable restrictions which have imposed on it. So we definitely have free speech, but they come with reasonable restrictions, because when an individual is enjoying a right, he cannot enjoy a right by violating a right of another individual. We need to understand that.
It can't be infringing on other people's speech?
Because in a democracy, you need to have communication. In a democracy, you need to have people discussing, giving their opinions, criticizing the government, speaking for the government, speaking against the government, whatever the case may be, by which a democracy would sustain itself. For example, your right to vote is also a form of free speech. Your right to vote, wherein you vote for some XYZ party, having a political party itself is form of a free speech.
True.
Right?
Huh.
So in India, you have so much free speech and expression to the extent that you can say Pakistan Zindabad. That is one of the judgment of the Supreme Court. But when you say Pakistan Zindabad, you cannot demean our own country.
Okay.
So there is a checks and balance. You cannot only blatantly say. The intent with which you are saying it, it matters.
But then people get prosecuted when they make, jokes about, let's say, I don't know, like dysfunctional people or whatever. जैसे भी हुआ recently, if you read, Samarena के साथ हुआ था, Ranveer Lavate के साथ हुआ था, they got prosecuted for jokes. So those people can't get away. But someone who is like a mortal enemy, Pakistan, like Pakistan Zindabad, that is okay.
In my opinion, saying Pakistan Zindabad should not be considered right. The Constitution is giving you that right. The judicial interpretations are there. The judiciary has interpreted it in such a manner. But everything has a context, You are wishing Pakistan good. A country good. That is okay. But you cannot demean, you cannot wish bad for India. Saying India, something bad about India is not allowed.
So that is not free speech.
That is not free speech. Yes. Why would that be free speech? So, in a way, speaking something which would be against the sovereignty of the country, against the...
Can you give me example of sovereignty of the country?
Like what?
Just give an example, like what's something that I can say that won't be qualified as free speech?
Let's go and blog the chicken's neck. How can that be free speech? And let's break the Northeast. There is one case which has happened. Yes. Wherein an individual, he stated that let's block the chicken's neck. And then he has been charged under the relevant provisions of the UAPA Act. Remember one thing, you spoke about US. US को independence मिले 250 years हुआ है.
Yes.
India अभी 75 years में है. The situation has many factors to it. US का society is not the same society as that of India.
True.
In India, you have so much of diversity. So we have to protect that diversity. And therefore, absoluteness is limited.
We have more restrictions because
we have more restrictions because, yaar, आप US देखो. Whether there are enemy states around US?
Not really. They are protected from both oceans and friendly neighbors to an extent.
Yes.
On north and south. So
see about India. What would happen if you do not prevent that individual is saying that let's block chicken's neck? What would happen? It is going to cause problems for the country, for national security, for the sovereignty of the country, for the people in the Northeast, and create disturbance internally as well for India. So you cannot have that absoluteness in free speech.
All the examples you gave was mostly about national security, कि जिसमें देश को कुछ एक हानि पहुंच सकते, more or less, right? But then I'll ask you that why people can't make jokes? Why people get prosecuted for making jokes like Samay Raina or Ranveer Lavadya, which was not a national security joke either.
Our society as of now
Hmm.
is not at that situation which would accept what they have stated. See, I am not supporting what they have stated. Actually, what they have stated is it cannot be morally right.
Acha.
And morality is one ground under Article 19.2 for restriction. Now, if you are speaking it in closed doors, like हम दोस्त में जाते हैं और हम कुछ XYZ चीज़ें बोलते हैं, हम वो चीज़ें बोल सकते हैं, whatever XYZ है, वो चीज़ें आप जाके जब पेरेंट्स बैठे आप बोल सकते हो?
Not really.
Why? There's a cultural difference. Morality has value, and you won't want those statements. You won't want it to make in front of your kids. Would you want them?
Well, kids shouldn't be watching those two people anyway. That's a different matter.
No, but see, at the end, if it is happening in closed doors, it's a commercial speech. Okay, that program or something, what you can say, that was a commercial speech in a way. Now, if it is happening in closed doors, if people in that closed doors, अगर उनके लिए वो acceptable है, it can be digestible, but वो public platform पे जा रहा है, and it is going and reaching the masses, and they are thinking that this is the problem. तो फिर we need to understand, जब वो सोसाइटी के पास जाएगा, सोसाइटी उसे कैसे परसीव करेगी, सोसाइटी उसे कैसे एक्सेप्ट करेगी, we need to see that. अभी in a way in India the society is not that way. We are still not, we cannot
very
consider
sensitive.
yourself a mature democracy in a way. कैसा है, US को 250 years हुए हैं. Okay, there have been many checks and balances, judicial interpretations वगैरह. We are just 70 years. हमको लगता है 70 years बहुत लंबा है, नहीं? Like until recent years adultery was considered a crime. Abhi, with the changing needs of the society, the Supreme Court changed it, right? Supreme Court stated adultery is not a crime. It can be a ground for divorce, but it's not a crime. So it change hua. So there is a checks and balance which is happening. So according to the society, your judges or law would be interpreted. Because this law, the law which is there in India, is created for the people in India. Article 19.1A is guaranteed to every Indian citizen. So it is applicable to citizens. We are speaking about citizens. सो हमारे सोसाइटी के लिए क्या राइट रहेगा, क्या रॉन्ग रहेगा, उस बेसिस पे वो इंटरप्रेट किया जाएगा. अभी पीपल कांट मेक यूज, इट्स नॉट द केस, बट हाउ वुड यू डिफरेंशिएट, द क्वेश्चन वुड बी हाउ वुड यू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन जोक and
I mean, even think about this, right? I make a joke, it's very relative, like you might find that funny, she might not find that funny, so how can you prosecute something which is up for debate, right? I mean, some people found it funny, some people are like, oh, this is too much, depending on who, like that is very gray area, don't you think?
it depends on the intent.
अच्छा.
अभी आप कुछ बोलते हो,
हाँ.
you are in a group of your friends and you say something and jokingly you say something, किसको तो हर्ट हो जाता है उसको, वो बंदे को बोलता है नहीं ये जोक नहीं, ये कुछ वो कुछ XYZ चीज़ है, रिएक्शन दे देता है, देयर इज सम रिएक्शन टू इट. Likewise, if the intent by which you are making that joke, if you are making that statement, if that intent is not with respect to joking but to harm that individual or with some ulterior motive behind it, then that cannot be considered as a joke.
But आपने जैसे hurt वाला बोला, ठीक है, even that is relatable to an extent, right? I mean, कोई, let's say someone has very low sensitivity, right? Even stuff which is not would be considered offensive by masses, they might feel कि oh, it's offensive to me, and then they might do something to take that down, और बोलेंगे कि ये ऐसा बोलना नहीं चाहिए, whatever it is, right? Don't you think so? I mean, isn't it too broad of a like just to assign someone intent? Let's say I'm making a joke about disabled people.
Okay.
Not that I have on public platform, but let's say I have, right? I don't mean harm to disabled people, but it's just a funny joke.
Yes, so it depends.
But someone might get hurt.
So that statement would go through judicial scrutiny.
Huh.
At the end, just filing an FIR, it means you're not prosecuted. It means you're not convicted. law would take its
Just
own
a
course.
complaint in a
Yes,
way.
just a complaint in a way. ठीक है, it will take its time. You have not been labeled that you have committed this crime. No,
अच्छा.
it's a complaint. What is an FIR? What is a complaint? It just puts the state machinery in motion. प्रेशर कुकर है,
हाँ.
ठीक है, प्रेशर कुकर में आप राइस डालते हो, ठीक है, आपने लगा दिया है, गर्म कर दिया है, ठीक है, ऊपर सीटी रखी है, रिएक्शन एक्शन अंदर हो रहा है, ठीक है, पर्सन हैज मेड अ कमेंट एंड देयर इज सम अप्रोर, पीपल हैव अप्रोच द स्टेट, FIR फाइल होता है. और जैसे FIR फाइल होता है ना, लोगों को लगता है यार कुछ किया पुलिस ने, बराबर, और वो जो फ्रिक्शन है कम्युनिटीज़ में वो सीटी जैसे ऊपर निकल जाती है, वो फ्रिक्शन थोड़ा सा हल्का हो जाता है, लगता है कुछ एक्शन हुआ है. देन आफ्टर द FIR वेदर इट इज़ राइट वेदर इट इज़ रॉन्ग, लेट द कोर्ट डिसाइड, राइट. एट द एंड जस्ट FIR फाइल करके, सी वी आर लिविंग इन अ डेमोक्रेसी वेयर रूल ऑफ लॉ विल प्रिवेल. If an FIR is filed, you have the power to challenge it in courts. It's not that it is final. So it's the way of checks and balance.
So is it fair to say that free speech मुझे maybe India में free speech allowed है up until point कि उससे violence नहीं हो रहा है कहाँ पे? Is it fair to say?
Not just violence, defamation per se. You cannot say something defamatory.
Even if it's true?
No.
हाँ.
Again, see, defamation has definition.
हाँ.
So something which is true cannot be defamation.
So it's a lot of nuance in this.
Yes.
अच्छा.
Contempt of court. Something which is true cannot be contempt. But contempt of court है, you can be prosecuted for contempt. You speak something. But if that speech is truth, that cannot be considered as contempt. Then, morality, obscenity. So these things would not be allowed in a democracy, right? They have been restricted under Article 19(2). Like अभी हम देखते हैं Netflix पे वगैरह, the concept in a way, what is being seen and what is being shown, it's up for challenge, I think. Because अगर आप वही चीज़ें किसी टेलीविजन पे प्ले करोगे,
won't be allowed.
That won't be allowed, right? But अभी वो Netflix वगैरह पे accessible हो रहा है इंटरनेट.
It's a private platform, right?
It's for a debate, but it's not कि it is accessible for all. A person who is intending to consume it is going. But public में ये play नहीं हो रहा है.
I'll get to one of the cases very famous, जो नुपुर शर्मा का case हुआ था, right? So what she said in a heated live television debate, again, that is a publisher, right? A news channel which is on TV, it's a publisher.
News channel was not held responsible, right?
Yes, correct. No, I'm getting to it. I'm just telling you. So in that case, she said, she quoted something from the Hadith, which is like a Islamic text, right? And she got prosecuted for it to a level we haven't seen at least in my lifetime, which is not a lot, but still I haven't seen anyone with so much firepower against her. So when I was asking you that question, jo public order wala and personal liberty, I think that plays a part in it, don't you think? Because what she said was actually from the books only. She just quoted the scripture.
Yes.
But then court assigned intent.
Court would interpret. Now, speaking something from a religious text, at the end, yes, the intent behind it matters. If you are purposefully making those statements, then that person would be held responsible.
Even if it's true?
Yes.
Achha.
But if you are purposefully making, how can... See...
To rile people up.
To create some anger or, to create
distress,
insightful distress or disharmony in the people, then that person can be held responsible. But in her case, I think she just quoted. But there was a heated debate going on. There were two people speaking about it. Now, how the court would interpret it, that it would be, it would be on the courts to determine it. So,
still ongoing.
Still ongoing, yes. But, the reaction, means you are speaking about Nupur Sharma. But see the reaction, Taylor in Rajasthan, what was his name?
Who got beheaded, right?
Yes. Now, see, there was an action, but the reaction cannot be taking law in your hand and, going and, doing something, any XYZ thing.
So we don't have like blasphemy laws, right? But we have 295A. how is that interpreted in terms of religious art? Just tell me what is in the books, and then obviously, as you said, that every judge, every court, wherever it is, then if it's a high court, then they might interpret it differently. If it's Supreme Court, they might do it differently. But just as in books, what is 295A?
It's an intentionally making provocative statement with intent to breach or hurt the religious sentiments.
Acha.
Would be considered blasphemy or would be considered under section 295A.
Okay.
So there should be intentional act. Intentionally speaking some words by signs, something in such a way that would impact or that would create such an impact that would impact the minds of the people and hurt the religious beliefs, the religious sentiments, and would create disharmony.
कि जो उमर खलीद का हुआ था, he played a part in inciting riots in 2020 में जो दिल्ली के riots हुए थे. So he was, I think he's in Tihar jail if I'm not wrong right now.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in jail. We know.
Jail, yes.
So he was trial under UAPA. What is that for general audience? Like, I'm not saying dumb it down, but what is UAPA? Because I'll tell you what I think of it, and then you can just correct me, right? I think before UAPA, the burden was on the government to prove that if this person is guilty of something or not. But I think anyone who is charged under the UAPA Act, then that person has to prove their innocence, that the onus is on the person and not the government. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment.
So what is that exactly? What can be tried?
There are some special statutes which have been passed by the government. One of them is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, UAPA.
Unlawful Activities
Prevention Act. Under UAPA, the government has power to declare certain organization as a terrorist organization, certain individual as a terrorist, or certain act as a terrorist act. And there are multiple more sections to it. One of the section is section 15 of the UAPA Act, and there are various other sections which empower the government to take action if anyone challenges or creates threat to the society or intends to act in such a manner which would cause terror activity, or which would cause disturbance to the public at large or the sovereignty and integrity of the country.
Which is what he did essentially.
Rights were, yes, with respect to rights.
It's still ongoing.
It's ongoing. Yeah. It still has to be proved.
He didn't participate in the riots himself, but he made sure that those...
See, now with respect to this case, what you are saying, what is in public, we are accepting it. But what actually are the facts on ground before the court may be different.
UAPA ke under, they banned People's Front of India, PFI, and also Khalistani Liberation Force, KLF, I think, right? Is it possible that in years to come, if the opposition is in power, will they use the same law to ban RSS?
RSS is doing a very good job for the country.
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot compare RSS with PFI. RSS is not involved in provoking some religion or some group of individuals to create disharmony in the society.
I agree.
So, whatever the government may do, the current government or the opposition.
Current government will never do, but opposition
not the current government, of course, opposition. At the end, the law would protect it, because I don't think the RSS has done anything wrong. See, it's simple. I'll tell you one thing. The law can be misused. The person who has power can misuse the law. It does not take anything to register an FIR or register a case. After the prosecution, when the judgment comes out, when that FIR is tested in the courts of law, that's when the reality comes out.
Okay.
You getting me? So, if an FIR gets registered, that would go to the courts of law, and the courts would decide whether that actually holds truth or not.
So opposition can try, but they won't succeed.
I don't think opposition can try, and the opposition should never try it also.
Achha, but they can try, right? They have the...
See, I told you, a person in power can do anything in a way.
So, Amey, I was saying, why Hindu institutions like temples are regulated more by the courts, by the Supreme Court, compared to other things like a mosque or a church? Like Sabrimala का जो case हुआ था 2018 में, where they specific, even though it was from a ground up, कि women को चाहिए था कि they should be allowed to enter the temple, fine. But they don't intervene as much as they do with Hindu institutions, with other religions, with other faiths, if it's mosque or church, whatever it is.
Because the state has direct control over the Hindu institutions, but that's not the case with mosques or churches.
So, I'm asking why Supreme Court it's so
So
keen.
see, I already answered that.
So keen.
I already answered that. It is because there is direct control of the state over these religious institutions, over Hindu institutions.
Achha.
Under Article 25 to 28, the Constitution guarantees us right to religion. You can have religion. But there are some special provisions which have been granted to minority institutions.
Minority institutions.
I disagree to it actually. That's part of Constitution, but okay.
Because we are not secular that
yes,
right?
You are seeing such a society now wherein you see Hindus are not able to run their own religious institutions independently, are not able to contribute much to their temples or to their culture, is because their say is refined by state control. If Hindus want to do something, they have to go and take permission of the government. Right? If temple wants to do something, the temple has to have a refinement of the government. Is that the case for other?
No, it's not.
No?
It's not.
They decide something tomorrow, they'll do it. They have the resources, they have everything. For us, we have to decide on everything. We have to take permission for everything.
Matlab, temples are run like public institutions, but a mosque or a church is not run like a public institution.
Yes, temples are run like a public institution, but mosque and a church are run like a religious institution. That same way, temples should also be run. That's the point. In US, there is no control of the state over religious institutions.
Church and state is separate.
Yes. So why is it that the case in India is that only Hindu institutions would be controlled and not Muslim or churches?
Yeah. Despite being majority of the people. Like,
yes. Yeah. Okay.
Very odd, very odd.
See, the Supreme Court also dealt with one more factor. In Appa Narasimha versus State of Bombay, 1952, the Supreme Court decided a very important point. It decided on two factors to consider whether something which is done is essential practice or not. So Supreme Court created a distinction between essential and non-essential practice in religion.
Explain that.
Okay.
What is essential? What is non-essential?
Lighting diyas on Diwali is an essential practice. Okay.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm just giving.
Achha, it is. Okay.
Bursting firecrackers.
Is
it essential? So that's a point of interpretation, whether it is or it is not. But we as Hindu society need to show it to the court that it's an essential practice. Similarly, namaz, azan, reciting azan 5 times in a day, it's an essential practice. Okay. Reciting azan 5 times in a day on a loudspeaker, is it essential practice?
It's
no.
not. It's not.
That's a
because you're infringing on other people, right?
Yes. And even those things have been interpreted by the courts. So the point which I want to make here is, we Hindus, if we have that Vedic knowledge available with us, when the state would not control our temples, we would be having more information, more documentation, which would give us or empower us to produce before court those kind of information which would help the court in interpreting this essential, non-essential practice
अच्छा.
in a way that would be beneficial for Hindus. But these things would happen when actually the state would stop controlling Hindu institutions. That's a very, in my opinion, is not right
should
at
be
all.
abolished.
Yes, you give you give powers to minorities, let them run their own institutions, but don't restrict Hindu institutions. That's a simple thing.
I think that for that to happen, it has to be from ground up. Common consensus जब रहेगा public में कि yeah, this is something we want to do, then that will create a culture, will create the right political environment which will make that happen. It never happen that a politician will decide, oh, this is the issue I want to focus on, and then he will get support. I don't think that's how it works. If you get what I'm saying.
BJP is in power since the last 11 years. 11, right?
Yeah. 11th year. This is the now 12th year.
The 12th year. Yes. The majority is supporting them.
Yes.
What is preventing them to challenge Places of Worship Act?
That's what I'm saying. People are
not raising that voice.
Exactly.
They should. At the beginning, what did I say? We have the right. We are not exercising it. Exercise your right. Challenge the government. Tell them that no Places of Worship Act is wrong. Bring this in debates. Then debating some nonsense in TV channels.
True.
Give viewership to those people who are raising these issues. Come together. Raise a voice against the government. Tell the government, tell your elected representatives that this should be...
And then it will be a topic which will get...
Then it will be a topic. And then first people have to come together and they have to decide. You have to exercise your right, simple, at the end. You have been given eminent rights. You exercise that right and then decide on it.
True. So if essentially you're saying if a majority of the Hindus come together and they say this is what we want from the ground up, eventually someone has to do that.
Yes, at least some steps would be taken, right?
There was one thing people demanded, or rather the people from opposition demanded or drummed up this so much. CAA का act जो था, Citizenship Amendment Act. In my opinion, it was such a simple thing. Like, हमारे around जो countries है, they are majoritarily Muslim, right? So it will never happen that the persecuted class from those countries will be Muslim. It will always be different faiths of minority. So उनके लिए fast track करने के लिए this was introduced कि उनके लिए अपन जल्दी उनको immigrate कर पाए because they are running away from persecution by their Muslim counterparts in those countries. How come it turned into an issue where people are gaslit into thinking that, oh my God, Muslims in India are under danger? And what does the constitution say? Because it still hasn't been implemented fully. It is passed, but it on the ground hasn't implemented fully. What's the role of constitution in this? Because people on the left or people opposition saying that this was unconstitutional. That's what they were claiming. But and I don't have a lot of knowledge, of course, that's why I have you. But in my opinion, obviously, अगर पाकिस्तान में Muslims will never be persecuted. वो जो थोड़े 8% है या बांग्लादेश, you know how Bangladesh is these days, right?
See what is the situation in Bangladesh now. Yes,
Crazy.
Of course, that's the thing.
So how come, is there any base of that claim कि वो unconstitutional था implement करना?
The stand of opposition is that, you should treat every religion equally. When you are not treating every religion equally with respect to control over religious institutions, but they won't see the hegemony. They want that if you are treating Hindus that way, but treat Muslims that way as well. Simple. But
it's
as
very selective.
You have given the answer already that Muslims are not persecuted minorities there, Hindus are. So,
but you made a great point. You just made a great point. You said that it's very selective because उनको secularism चाहिए when it comes to CAA, but when it comes to right to worship, right, ये सब चीजें, then they don't want secularism. They want their own special laws for their own things, which is, I mean, it's hypocritical and contradictory in nature, right?
True. I completely feel it's very unfortunate today that you don't have a strong opposition.
I agree.
If you had a strong opposition, what I spoke right now with respect to Places of Worship Act that could have been raised in Parliament. The opposition should do a constructive criticism than, taking something very
Fringe.
yes, exactly, which does not have any impact nor on the government nor on the people, and they are just sitting there, and to raise some protest they are raising it,
Which is why they
but
haven't-
something constructive, something productive criticism, it's lacking
True.
completely. So it's very unfortunate.
Which is why they haven't been able to win elections, right?
Yeah, it's
That's
like
the thing.
Rahul Gandhi speaking is not good for the Congress, but it's good for the BJP.
BJP is
That's how
biggest
it is.
spokesperson.
That's the problem. So we as a country are lacking a strong opposition
That is
who
true.
would raise good and strong issues and ask the government those points, those questions.
I think every functioning or rather healthy democracy needs a strong opposition, because the people in power need to think that, oh, I might lose, I might not be in power. But the people who are sitting opposition to it, they are so incompetent that these people don't have to worry. They are like, oh my God, even if I do this, this much, I'll still be in power.
Yes. There is no option other than BJP left as of now for a large number of people, and that's actually a true fact.
True.
Means
Specifically
in my
national
opinion,
level.
yes,
It is
people
true.
may have different opinions, but this.
But we can see the results as
Yeah,
well,
we
right?
can see the results as well. So BJP is doing a good job, and there is no other person. It's not that I completely support BJP in all things what they are doing. They can do more than what they are doing.
Yes.
But who would compel them to do more than what they are doing?
Exactly.
The
They need that
opposition would,
pressure.
but opposition is not doing anything.
True.
So that's missing.
The opposition focuses on topic that people don't care about. Might get headlines, but people don't care about.
it. Yes.
True. But you said very important that even if BJP does something wrong, we should be able to criticize it. I think one of the things they did this year, कि उन्होंने IT Act, they amended the IT Act. I don't know how much you're versed in that, but essentially it allows government कि अगर उनको suspect होता है कुछ कि this person has done some wrongdoing, this is very complicated but I'm simplifying, has done some wrongdoing, then that entitles them to check your emails, check your social media, check your, so you're talking about right to privacy. Isn't that an infringement of right to privacy even if you suspect something?
How would you ensure security of the state? Okay, yeah, right to privacy is a fundamental right, but right to privacy itself is also not absolute in nature.
So it doesn't trump national security.
Trump in the sense?
Trump as in it doesn't, matlab jisse national security will always be on top and then there is right to privacy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a point.
So it's secondary.
It's secondary nature. So just checking if there is suspect, that suspicion would have some basis. It's not that suspicion would be tomorrow you are walking on the road and some police officer thinks that it's wrong and he would, ask you those things. No, there would be some basis to the suspicion. It's not that, you have been given right and that
It's
right
not
would
blanket.
be, it's not blanket. See, law and the procedure underlying the law are different. Okay.
But the people who use those laws, they can be bad actors, right? I mean,
they can be bad actors. I'll tell you why. See, at the end, it also depends on the people who are sitting in the position. The constitution may be very good, but it would be bad if the people who are running it are bad.
but isn't that government overreach to an extent? Because what is suspect? Suspect can be anything. It's such a broad term.
So tell me one thing. If you are suspecting that XYZ person standing there may have planted a bomb, if you don't have that power to check him, what would you do?
But there might
You
be
have
something.
to, if you are suspecting that person, you have to check that person, yeah?
Correct.
If you don't check that person because of liberty, and tomorrow he kills 10 persons, he has infringed 10 persons liberty, then what is going to happen?
I'll give you one more example then. It's something that is more related to that act or amendment to that act, right? Let's say government suspects of me doing something wrongdoing. Let's say with income tax or whatever, right? Not that I have, but just saying, right? So let's say government is like, okay, this person might have evaded tax one way or another. So they check my emails. They don't find any evidence of that, right? But the person who is checking that, they might find something else that they might use to, I don't know, blackmail me. It can, because internet is full of things, right? People have pictures, people have videos, people have a lot of confidential stuff that has nothing to do with what the suspicion was for. But that also might get revealed in that process. So उसका तो misuse हो सकता है ना. Depends on the actor, but it can be
It
misuse.
depends on that person who is having access to that information. And yes, in a way, you are right that person who is having that access, his right should be controlled, or he should be given more responsibility. He should act in more responsibility, and he should be held accountable.
Acha.
He should be more accountable to the information which he is having, or the
Entitled to.
yeah, entitled to, or the access. See, I'll tell you one thing. Normally, what happens is, in normal criminal cases, if some electronic evidence is used in an act, or is alleged to be used in an act,
Acha.
that is seized by the police, and the police has it with them. So what does the police do after seizing that? That's with the police. So police would be having that information. Yes, that's true. But because they are suspecting, they should be able to check your phone. That's how the point comes in. But yes, they should not be allowed to blanketly see everything. But how do you hide there and see? That's the point.
हो ही नहीं सकता.
Control. How do you control it? How would you control that individual, that police person sitting there? If he is seeing everything, how would you control him that you would not see this, but you would see that? Until and unless he does not see everything, he would not get get the information which he is sitting there for. Yes.
Like who will watch the watchers?
Yes.
ऐसा scene हो. Interesting.
And how would he find what he wants to find
Without having full
without
control
having
of
full
the,
access to it?
मतलब उसमें it's like inherent fault in that
Yes,
thing, right?
it's a very good thing that the government has mandated that your data which is being created has to be firstly stored in India now. That's a very good thing.
Acha, okay,
That's why
yes,
you
it
now
is.
see the data centers are booming in India. Why? Because of this bill. Because now the government mandates that the data which is being created by us, by individuals, see, we are the biggest data generators of this world. China, the companies in the West do not have access to China.
Correct.
Government wants that data to be stored in India because in future, one who controls the data would be controlling
The world.
the world.
True.
Yes, one who is controlling the data, having data, would generate the best of AI. Right? At the end, AI works on the data which is supplied to them.
Huh?
So if we are having control of our data, if the data which is being generated by us, the biggest data in the world is with us, in future we would be generating such companies or creating such products which would influence the world.
Acha.
So that's one way, a good thing which the government is doing. With respect to the data protection and privacy bill.
So that's it's also funny. You mentioned all these companies, right? It's funny people are willing to trust foreign companies like Meta, right? Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Google, but you won't, trust your own government. But you will trust foreign apps and everything else, right? Which is just the way of the land these days in this country. But you mentioned AI. Tell me what will happen, because abhi jaise generative AI is getting, great. Like, I have your voice right now, right? I can create and I can do a lot of stuff with it, which you never said that, but it might be like.
Definitely.
So how will law change with that? Because face वाला भी जो हो रहा है ना अभी, जैसे generative AI with faces, that's also getting very good.
Deepfakes.
Deepfakes are so good that it's very hard to tell, and voice has already done that 6 months ago. How will law deal with it?
It's very challenging actually. I'll tell you why. Because you don't know the reality behind a video or a deepfake, which is a deepfake, but it goes in public. How would the public understand whether that is that same person or a deepfake of that person? So it can be used
Misinformation.
to spread information, or to induce people that this person is saying this. Inducing them. It may be used to cheat people under 420, under various sections of BNS. So it's going
Inciting
to be,
people for violence as well, right?
yeah, that these people are saying this, but in reality they are not. So it's going to be very difficult in future.
What's your take? If you have to come up with one solution, this is such a hypothetical question because we're still at least 5-10 years, behind what is happening in US in terms of implementation. But I think technology is like that. It connects people very quickly, right?
Yes.
So how do you see that happening? Like what you will do to prevent कि ये सब चीजें नहीं होगी? Something that comes to your mind.
Tell me one thing. I'll question you itself.
अच्छा, okay.
What is the use of deepfake?
To show some, let's say, to show something that someone hasn't done, and to use that to, depends on the defect, but to have some kind of propaganda.
So how is propaganda good in nature? It's not right.
But there is a good propaganda as well.
How what is good propaganda?
Government does good propaganda all the time.
What? Like
You don't think BJP has done good propaganda?
like what?
I'll tell you the IT bill you're saying, right? Good propaganda is this, that you're mentioning all the good parts of it, but these nuances that we spoke about, these are not mentioned.
So when the government is speaking about the good things, a real person can speak about it. Why is deepfake necessary to spread that propaganda?
No, but people use it to do. I get what you're saying. People probably use that to do bad things or like negative things,
Yes.
right?
So deepfakes have more negative than positives. It's simple. In my opinion, deepfake should not be allowed in India, or should not be allowed. I know it's technologically regressive, but it's a fact.
It is.
Because in a way, I think
Not
I deal
in
with-
complete blank.
so. Yeah, because what is the
That's harsh though.
what is the use of deepfake? Tell me. What is a beneficial use of deepfake? Tell me that.
Let's. I'll tell you. I'll tell you a fun example actually. So you know what's happening with Imran Khan in Pakistan, right? So obviously he's in jail. He can't create video messages and everything. So his people, the PTI, they are creating deepfakes of him where he's talking to people from jail. Very convincing, at least for Pakistani people with low IQ, right? But that's a different matter. So that's like
But
a
that's
good.
not truth. That's not reality.
I know, but
Do you want truth? Do you want what is not truth or what is not reality to be circulated in the name of free speech? No. In my opinion, that should not happen.
I agree with you. I'm not debating on that.
Yes.
All I'm asking is that it's in my opinion, it's enforceable. You can't enforce it, right?
Let's take an example of a financial fraud case. ठीक है? A person who wants to commit a fraud, under some who wants to collect a lot of deposits and he wants a brand ambassador. Tomorrow he goes and he puts in some XYZ person's deepfake of that place and states that even this person is asking you to invest in that, and that individual through that deepfake video states that okay, you start investing in me. People agree. People see okay, this is the person. They come. They put in the money, and that person later on goes, cheats, and takes away the money.
Why in India there's a thing called Tarikh pe Tarikh? Why criminal or court cases take so long?
The number of judges, yes, are very less. I think we have one judge per 10 lakh population. I guess that is the case. I need to check, but
still,
yes,
the ratio.
But the ratio is very, very less. So, have you been to any court, any district court
No,
or GMFC?
no.
The way those have you seen this Jolly LLB? The
Which
judge
first
sits
one
there.
I have seen.
Yes. See the situation of the court behind it. It's almost the same situation in reality of the courts. There is no space. You don't feel like going there. There is so much chaos. There is no proper infrastructure. There is no drinking water available.
Achha.
And the judge is dealing with 600, 650. I have cases here, means I see a JMFC's board. There is a board, that he has to deal with so many matters. 650 matters on his board. I am like, how is this guy going to cope with this pressure of dealing matters? Just imagine 650 cases. We as lawyers, if we have 5 cases in a day, I'm sweating as to how do I manage. When this person has 650 matters in a day, how are we going to, give importance to each and every matter for that day? So there he is going to do 50 matters. Remaining 600 matters are going to go for one more Tarikh. Then this Tarikh pe Tarikh would continue, and the number of cases being generated
Pile up.
and the number of cases being disposed are
बहुत फर्क है दोनों
difference. Yes, there are more cases which are being registered than they are being disposed.
So lack of resources.
So lack of resources is the main thing. We need to, increase the number of judges. That's the only thing. The debate that, judges go on vacation and everything, that's insane. No, that's not the case. If you see the amount of work the judges do, they need a break first. Secondly, they are not just going and sitting and enjoying the vacation. They are sitting and reading, delivering judgments, reading the cases, reading the case files. When you see, there is many a time my clients question, yaar 4:30 baje tak hi baith rahe judges, 5 baje tak hi baith rahe. They are not going home after they are stepping down from the dais. They are sitting in their chambers reading it, reading till 8 p.m, reading till 9 p.m in the evening. And once that is done, they go to sleep. Next day in the morning, they are coming and deciding more cases. Judges are so overburdened and doing the highest work, I'd say. The only government machinery which is functioning above their capacity, I think, is the judiciary. Yes. Because they are working.
Punching above their weight.
Yes, I have argued in Bombay High Court, I have argued cases at 8:30 p.m. in the evening.
Wow.
Secondly, the legislature does not intend to increase the number of judges. I'll tell you why.
That is true. I think I know about you. Carry on.
Last month, a minister from Maharashtra was convicted. He had to resign from his post. There are so many more politicians who have so many criminal cases registered against them. If judges get time and if judges start disposing cases fast, even these persons who are the elected representatives, they are going to face problem because their cases are also going to get decided. And then they may have to lose their position. So when they do not intend that the judiciary solves all the cases, they want their cases to remain pending. So when that's one point. So the intent of the legislature, the intent of the politicians also should be there that they need to increase the number of judges, but that's not the case.
True.
What is the status? I guess majority of the elected representatives have criminal cases registered against them. Simple.
And they can't do self-regulation, right? It's inherently against human
nature. They are not going to
never
create such offices which are going to remove them from their office.
Correct. As we spoke about earlier, right? Correct.
Simple.
All right, all right. Final questions, or question rather. If you had to, or if you have to, you have a lot of power, let's say you have unilateral power, to make one amendment to the constitution, what would it be? And you can't say reservation, but
okay.
Anyway.
I would make the executive independent of the legislature.
Okay.
It is to some extent not possible, but why am I intending to say so is because I want to see police reforms in this country. The director of CBI should not be the puppet of the government, as it is said so. The police personals sitting in the police stations should not be controlled by the politician. If some XYZ individual citizen goes and wants to register an FIR or a complaint against the sitting MP, MLA or corporator of that jurisdiction, he would not be able to do so.
Right now.
Yes, to some extent it would behind the doors
behind
would
the
happen.
Doors.
Because the PI sitting there knows if I do it registered, tomorrow I'm going to get transferred.
True.
So the interference of the legislature, the politicians in the executive, mostly in the police machinery, that should be removed. Like in the US, there's a good thing. See, there are some good things in US as well. One of it is that their law and order wing of the police and their investigative wing of the police are different.
Correct. Independent.
Yes. So police today are for security of the politicians, of security of individuals as well, and they are also investigating crimes, right? So they can be differentiated in this aspect. I'll tell you why. Okay, yes, you need to have coordination between the legislature and the police machinery with respect to maintaining law and order. Okay, it's actually the executive itself. But when it is coming to investigating a crime,
a lot of interference is there.
Then why should politicians interfere in it? Why should the Home Minister have the right to decide the transfers of police machinery? I think to a lot of extent, the citizens who are facing courts would agree to it because they know, means those people who have faced the police machinery
Inside
know
out.
what problems the police machinery has. So yeah, this is a point which I would like to change.
Legislative different from executive, or at least वो pressure नहीं होना चाहिए जो अभी
Yes,
होता
the
है.
police police reforms also.
Mm-hmm.
I'll directly implement police reform and make it part of the constitution. Simple, yes. To my because this
You have faced those problems yourself.
as a criminal lawyer, we know this problems. So therefore, yes, that is the case.
All right. Okay, Amey, this was a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming
as well.
Yes, likewise,
Yes,
man.
yes.
Cheers. Bye bye.